This is a little thing I like to call MLB Rants. If you're new to this channel, I would just like to point out that everything I say in this video are completely my opinions. They are not universally correct. If there's something that you either agree with or disagree with in this video, make sure you put that down in the comment section below. And if there's something that happens next week that you would like me to go over, also put that down in the comment section. Any mind to make an appearance in next week's episode. We've got the trade deadline coming up. It's the end of July, so yeah, a lot of fun stuff going on there. We're going to be talking about some of that throughout today's episode. This is MLB Rants 2021 season. Hey! This is MLB Rants 2021 season, episode 15. So the first thing that I would like to discuss today is the Alex Verdugo incident. He got hit by a ball that was thrown by a Yankees fan over this weekend. The Yankees and Red Sox were playing each other last weekend, and things got heated between Alex Verdugo and a fan that was behind him in left field. And this fan basically threw a ball that he originally threw into the crowd. And Red Sox and Yankees fan in particular have this whole thing of throwing the ball back when it's either hit by the opposing team or when it's thrown by the opposing team. So yeah, and Alex Verdugo, he wasn't happy about it, and the fan ended up having to leave the stadium and got a lifetime ban and is not welcome back into Yankee Stadium, even being a Yankee fan. For starters, I would just like to point out the incident that happened with Giancarlo Stanton a few years ago, where he hit a home run at the Green Monster in Boston, and one of the Boston fans threw the ball back onto the field, and it actually ended up hitting Giancarlo Stanton as he was rounding second base. Now, of course, the throw was a lot farther away and probably came to Giancarlo Stanton with a lot less velocity, especially since it bounced on the floor before it hit Stanton. But at the same time, it still happened, and maybe that is what kind of caused this. Maybe it's this Yankee fan getting revenge for what happened to his own player. I don't really know, but I just thought that I would bring that up because when it happened to Stanton treated it as a joke, and he kind of brushed it aside. It wasn't really a big deal. That fan was never banned from the stadium. Nothing ever happened to him. The other reason why I wanted to point this out is you can't be throwing stuff onto the field. I mean, you had the Angels game at the beginning of the year where they were throwing trash cans onto the field, and like inflatable trash cans onto the field too, which was, yeah, funny, but at the same time wrong. Throwing trash and that kind of stuff onto the field, also not really a great thing, but balls especially. The fact that you not only take the ball from the person that it was meant for, but then throw it at the player, directly at the player and hitting him in the back it's kind of messed up, and I feel like the lifetime ban is pretty acceptable. Don't throw balls onto the field. I feel like I don't even really need to say that, but just for forewarning, don't throw balls into the field. It's not cool, and somebody could get seriously hurt depending on how you hit them and where you hit them. So just don't do it. One of the more better well-known umpires in the league is a guy named Angel Hernandez. Angel Hernandez has been famously known for being one of the worst umpires in the league. He makes terrible calls, both on the field and at home plate. It's just very annoying that he is still part of the league. However, on Tuesday's game between the Royals and the Brewers, Angel Hernandez was the home plate umpire, and he called a great game. Now, the source that I'm getting all of these statistics from is from a Twitter account at UmpScorecards. There'll be a little thing right here, and I'll also put that link down in the description. If you don't want to go into Twitter, they have a website, www.umpscorecards.com. It's really cool. They provide all the stats, all the pitches, how accurate they were, all this stuff. It's just great for MLB fans, especially one like myself where I'm in love with statistics and this kind of stuff. And we're just going to go over some of the things that they pointed out that Angel Hernandez did. His overall overall accuracy was 97%. His overall consistency, 98%. It gives us this picture of the strike zone with all these dots and this random line about it, and then it gives us a list and then another pie chart at the bottom. So that box is essentially the strike zone, and then those colors and numbers are the pitches that he essentially got wrong. Now, as you can see, there are only 4 dots on there. Usually for somebody like Angel Hernandez, there'd be about 30 dots on there, but for this occasion, there's only 4. He did really good, and that line basically signifies where his overall strike zone is according to the balls and strikes that he called. Like, this is his made-up strike zone, basically. And you can see he did a really great game. He called 3 strikes that were balls, and then 1 ball that was actually a strike. So, Angel Hernandez, I mean, props to you, man. I feel like, although you are a pain to deal with when you are horrible, you know, you got to give it up that you had this one game, and hopefully you can be consistent with that and be consistently good, because, you know, it's hard to do these kind of things. But again, huge thank you to UmpScorecards. They are not like paying me to do any of this. I just, you know, they're just a really good Twitter account. They're a really good website to go check out. I really recommend it. Go check it out. It's down in my description below. It is the end of July. That means that players are getting traded like nobody's business. Off the bat, Nelson Cruz has already been traded from the Twins to the Tampa Bay Rays. This is an interesting deal. I don't really understand it. It'll strengthen the lineup no matter what. Nelson Cruz is a remarkable player, and I feel like he may be a good fit for the Rays. But the people that I want to talk about are 2 of the most important people in the league right about now. I did an episode talking about Max Scherzer about 2 months ago, and I explained where he might go either by the trade deadline or at the end of the year. And I said that he would be a great fit for the Blue Jays, and he might even go there still, who knows. But the 2 people that I want to talk about are Trevor Story and Kris Bryant. Trevor Story is a shortstop for the Colorado Rockies, and Kris Bryant is a third base kind of utility player for the Chicago Cubs. For Trevor Story, in his situation, I think Trevor Story will unite with his old teammate in Nolan Arenado and go to the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, the St. Louis Cardinals already have a shortstop in Paul DeJong, but I feel like Trevor Story and Paul DeJong and the Cardinals can work something out where one of them becomes the shortstop and one of them becomes the second baseman. It's easy. The Cardinals don't really have a for sure second baseman, so that's a really good spot that they could fill. And they've already got chemistry between Trevor Story and Nolan Arenado, who are really good teammates for years on the Rockies. So I feel like Trevor Story going to the Cardinals is a great decision for him. If Trevor Story goes to the Cardinals, it might give them that edge in the NL Central, especially over the Brewers, who they are so far behind right now. And who knows, they might even make that playoff push, and they might get above the Brewers and make it to the playoffs. But that's only if Trevor Story goes to the Cardinals and reunites with Nolan Arenado. Now, my other player is Kris Bryant. Kris Bryant is a really good player for the Chicago Cubs. And the thing about him is that he's obviously going to go up for a lot of money because he is an exceptional player. But he needs to go to a team that's only going to keep him for this last half of the season. They're not planning on keeping him. They just want him for this year so that they can make a push to the playoffs. And, you know, they just need to win these games in order to get, because it's either close in their division or something like that. The most ideal candidate for that spot are the New York Mets. The New York Mets, their primary third baseman is J.D. Davis, who is okay, yes, but when you're comparing J.D. Davis to Kris Bryant is the obvious way to go. And especially when the Mets have been leading the NL East all year, but there are only a few games ahead of their opponents, Kris Bryant will give them that edge and could take them to the playoffs. I do think that they will win the NL East, but Kris Bryant will make it a lot easier for the Mets this year. And if they can acquire Kris Bryant and spend the money that they have, because they really have been saving up for a pretty decent player. You think about Pete Alonso, Dominic Smith, Stroman. You've got a really good lineup. It's just really edgy between their own division, and Chris Bryant will really help the Mets out for the rest of this year, and I think it could be a great trade between the Mets and the Cubs. That is it for this week's episode. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button. Push that bell for push notifications so that you get the notification every time I upload. In case you forget, I upload on a weekly basis every single Friday. If there's something that I said in this video that you either agree with or disagree with, make sure you put that down in the comment section below. And if there's something that happens next week that you would like me to go over, also put that down in the comment section, and it might even make an appearance in next week's episode. Go check out UmpScorecards on Twitter or on their website, which is in my description. The trade deadline, really excited to see what comes. We'll kind of do an analyzation video when it's all over and done with in about, I don't know, like 2 weeks. And, we'll just do an overall take of everything that happened, all the trades that went down. That is it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.